Our data feeds both traditional media like Bloomberg and crypto-specific media like Cointelegraph and Decrypt. At the same time, our suite of products from the portfolio manager to the NFT value estimator give our community all the tools they need to navigate this really complex space. But most importantly, to stay ahead of the noise and stay well informed, which is why we're here today. So as always, we record these sessions for people to catch up later. And if you missed any of the previous shows, head on over to YouTube, type in DappRadar, and you will be presented with hundreds of amazing videos. So no excuses there, guys, no excuses. So today, I'm excited to welcome Anna Gorivnikova. She's the CMO of Xdao. I'm going to welcome her to the stage just to do a little sound check. Do we have you there, Anna?
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Awesome. So I'm just going to run through a couple of bits of news, Anna, and then I'll jump back over and we'll get started, all right? So just give me a minute or two and we will kick off. So what is going on in the world of blockchain, dapps, and crypto today? Unless you have either just woken up or have not even looked at anything yet, Solana is dominating the news once again. Now, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole right now, but I would implore you, if you have any assets on Solana, or if you have a wallet attached to Solana, go and read and go and find out what's going on. This is not a drill. That's all I would say right now. Also, this week we had the Nomad bridge hack, which is really an interesting story, I think. And I mentioned this on Tuesday as well. I think the most interesting thing is the way in which this happened. We've got one guy basically kicking the door down, and then what can only really be described as digital looting taking place over the following hours. Pretty crazy stuff, really. People looting using their ENS names. Smart move, guys. You're probably going to regret that. So that's we've written that up. There's an article over on the blog all about that as well. And also today we've released our July report. So this covers all the happenings of what's been happening throughout the month of July 2022. If you're a DappRadar Pro user, you can cop that now. If you're not, it will be available for you to check out in 24 hours. All right, so you can find all that stuff on our blog, but don't go check it out now, because now we're going to jump off into the main event. So as everybody knows, every week we sit down with different blockchains, dapps, NFT projects. We dig in and we like to see what they're all about. Most importantly, we like to put a human voice, I should probably say, I always say a human face, but it seems as you can't see our faces, a human voice to the project, because it's very easy to read white papers and do other things like that, but let's talk to the people who actually work at this project. I think that's the most interesting. So, Anna, I think I have warmed everybody up a little bit for you. So I would like to start by jumping into what I call the elevator pitch. I would like you to pretend that you are stuck in an elevator with me for around a minute, and I'd like to know all about Xdao and why I should be excited about it and why it's interesting. So no pressure at all, Anna. You've got a minute. Let's see what you got.
Okay, thank you so much for welcoming me here. Thank you so much for DappRadar supporting us at the same time. And basically, yes, what is Xdao? I'm going to talk about Xdao today. So basically, in 1 minute speech, I'd like to highlight that Xdao is basically a DAO builder, meaning that you can create your decentralized autonomous organization just in a few clicks through our interface. You can manage your assets with your team, with your family and friends. You can create your funds, venture funds, I don't know, any kind of investment DAO if you want. You can also manage your money from your protocol, for example.
Cool.
It's kind of a safe place to manage, like a multi-sig wallet, if you know what is. And you can also create a GameFi and NFT project here. You can use Xdao for charity. You can actually use your DAO in Xdao for charity. And some interesting case we showcased in our website. For example, we also moved over to implement and onboard Web2 and actually the companies from the real world to the Web3 sector, Web2 space. And we started from the big use case. It is actually the city in Indonesia. So basically, you know that South Asia is actually the place where crypto and NFT and Web3 is growing and prospering right now. So yes, there is a lot of people there are a lot of people who actually understand what is a blockchain and how it can be how they can be benefited from it. So in short words, it is what it is. It is DAO builder that can connect your through our interface to any DeFi protocol. Imagine you just using like your wallet, but instead of using wallet, you use your DAO protocol. So you can connect to any, let's say, a DEX or any, let's say, any app tooling where you usually connect your MetaMask wallet. Yes, you can connect your DAO actually and perform some actions. So it's like a 1 minute speech like this.
Right. No, you nailed it, Anna. That was really good. It's not an easy thing that I do at the beginning there, and it is a bit of a test. And you passed 100%, so well done. And yeah, I'm super interested now. So let's dive in a little bit more. But before we go into we're going to get deep on the kind of technical side of the DAO and all of those functions. But first, Anna, I want to know a little bit about you. I want to know a little bit about your background and how you've ended up working in this crazy blockchain space. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yes, with pleasure. Actually, this is my really first project in the Web3 space that I'm actually heading, like a chief marketing officer. Yes, I'm a chief marketing officer on CMO at Xdao, and my background is absolutely in the Web2 space. I started with, let's say, with CMM, SMM things. I also try some coding things, and at the same time, I started to learn Solidity. And when it comes like in 2019, that people actually talking about blockchain, I immediately immersed in the subject. Just in, let's say, in 3 months, I get the idea. I knew the protocols like Aave, like Uniswap and stuff, and we started building like our own things just for fun, you know. It wasn't successful. I mean, I really didn't understand how it should work in terms of marketing, in terms of community engagement. But things goes, and back in the time, I suppose it was a good way, you know. It was a good road I paved to what we actually have right now.
Yeah, that's an amazing journey. Like it's really impressive that you were educating yourself on the topics and kind of diving really deep and you found something that really piqued your interest there. It's very cool and all at a good time as well, and the timing also lined up as well. All right, that's very cool, Anna, very cool. As a CMO, just as a bit of a random question, I guess, I'm also into marketing, and you mentioned there that, you know, some of the lessons you'd learn about traditional marketing. Do you find that they work in this world, or that you have to adapt a little bit? You mentioned community building and things there. Do you find it to be really different, or is there a lot of similar things that you can bring from Web 2 that can be successful?
Okay, so starting with basically with the communities subject, it changed a lot in my mind, because when you build like Web2 tooling, it's usually like ordinary marketing. You need to make an advertisement across the Web2 space, like in a Facebook, like in Instagram,
Right.
and the
You kind of
place
know where
where
to
you
go,
usually spend a lot of time, right?
right?
So basically, this is the like a main, like say, like a main road
Yeah.
to catch people here, and to know, let's say, no feedback you can get like in Discord. Actually, at this time, I didn't know that Discord is some place where you can catch with the people, with your community, with the people who actually use your product, and like take a feedback from them. You know, it was like a crazy things. Yes, I know that there's still kind of communication between user and the developers, but it was like very strange. And usually these calls, this everything, it was like something less really different.
Different
But
atmosphere almost.
yes, different atmosphere. But at the same time, we still have calls with another Web3 project. We still has kind of advertisement if it is not like connected to the coin, so the blockchain is not it's not prohibited right now in the Facebook, for example, so you can do it right now. So I think, and at the same time, comparing the Web2 and Web3 space, the Web3 actually also adapting to the Web2 people, so you can see kind of like small icons where you can just write a message right in the website, like a small icon in the top in the bottom of the website with these annoying messages like, do you need some help or something like this. So Web3 tools also use this
there's a lot of similarities
there
as well, isn't there? Like,
yes, and this is adopting, and this is cool actually. Yes, because we are planning to hire. I know that actually 300 million people right now, according to the crypto.com, using blockchain, using have wallets. And so we plan by the 2022, we plan to have like 1 billion people over there. So we need to adopt them somehow.
Got to adopt. Yeah. This is the thing, isn't it? I think it's interesting. Like with I see Web2 as being a little bit one-directional. Like you mentioned it there as well, that in Web3, there's much more community building and actual taking, like you said, on Discord, you can take feedback from your customers and you can actually then act on the feedback. And it's a much more satisfying loop, I think, for both the users and the marketers, I believe. But we're all just kind of still figuring out what works best, I guess, as well. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that, Anna, really. It seems as it's your specific role and something that I have an interest in as well, just to see what you felt about that. But thank you for telling me about your background. I'm also interested in the team as well, the team over at Xdao. And then that leads me on to the next question, which is how you guys came to develop the Xdao platform. Like, what was the early stages? How did it all begin?
Okay, it began from our CEO, of course, Vladislav. He actually had the idea like in 2018, and the idea was to make some kind of investment DAOs, because at that time, 2018, imagine, just it was like so long ago, comparing with the progress, yes, over there. And yes, DAO at that time wasn't so popular. I mean, absolutely not popular. And there were like Aragon over there, DAO House over there, and Gnosis maybe. Yes, the Gnosis, I guess, at the center they already exist. And so that's just not so much tooling, not so much understanding on how it should work. And the idea was simple: to onboard more people to the DAO, to give them this tool. And Vladislav just came to his brother, first of all, pitch his idea to him. And actually, this is why we kind of two co-founders are the brothers. And after that, just in a random meeting, in a random conference, they met Igor. Igor is our brain of our team. He's the CTO.
That's a big title for him.
Yes, and he actually used it personally, this title. So yes, we're kind of proud of him because he's a really brilliant developer and really very good technical guy with a mathematical background. So he's mathematician,
that man in the project,
by the destiny. And yes, after that, they invite me to join, and this is how we actually gather the basis of our team. And after that, we start to hire. After that, we start to negotiate, to launch our first projects and pitch our idea to the VCs and stuff. So it's still ongoing, by the way, but we are currently at the final stage, I guess. So in October, we will finish all the communication, and we'll actually launch our token.
Nice.
So yes, it's a big long way, because we have like version 1 of Xdao. It is currently version 2 of Xdao. So we figure out what is better for the users, what they use, what they don't use, and stuff like this.
Got it.
All about the community, yeah, and the feedback.
So it's like a work in progress. You've got to adapt as you move along, and so version 3. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Actually, we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, cool. Thank you so much. That's a really good answer as well. So what would you say? Okay, let's even take it even more basic. Some people don't even know what a DAO is, Anna. Let's jump into that. Please tell people in the audience what is a DAO and what do those 3 letters stand for?
Okay, decentralized autonomous organization. It is very broad and actually young concept as we understand it right now. So the history and prehistory of DAO, I don't know. I don't want to go just so away from the topic, but in 2015 we first seen the first papers about DAO, and it was about automation, artificial intelligence, and very, very, very promising stuff. So at the same moment, we still don't have artificial intelligence in the DAO, and I think it's a very big deal, and maybe it should be fixed in the next iteration of the DAOs. So a decentralized autonomous organization is currently, the current state is it's a smart contract, first of all. Smart contract that governed by more than one person with access to the funds inside. I mean, the smart contract can have funds, and all the decision make in the DAO should be made by the kind of consensus or kind of quorum. So it's basically the idea when you put a proposal and you vote for it. So in 2 words, is just a smart contracts where you put the proposal and you vote for it. And no matter what is this, for example, there is also 2 definition of governance, for example, off-chain and on-chain. So if in terms of Xdao, for example, it's absolutely on-chain. On-chain meaning that if you propose something, it will change the blockchain state in the end. But for example, if you talk about off-chain voting, like a snapshot, this proposal and this decision can't change the blockchain state, but they can change the people's mind, I don't know, the development stage or something like this. But at the end, someone still need to do the job after the decision was made. So there is a difference. In the on-chain voting, everything, because it's a smart contract, everything will be done immediately after the proposal will be executed. So yes, there is in a DAO, you should understand how to make a proposal and what kind of proposal it should be and how many members in the DAO we will have. So basically, technically speaking, even in a DAO with 1 person, and also a DAO in Xdao, because you can just create a DAO with only you, but you still will need to vote for your decisions. So technically speaking, it's a DAO, but ideologically speaking, it's not. So
you need more people.
It depends on the view.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of, I mean, to put it in really, really basic language, it's similar to the way that a company makes decisions in the real world now, except you've got all these layers of human beings that are kind of there, and the voting rights are not given out to the community as such. They're just given out to the people who work for the company. So it's kind of, it's the true form of blockchain.
Board of directors, right? I'm sorry, board of directors, maybe.
That's how I see it. Like, you've got this massive board of directors, but they're actually the people who are invested in the product, have an interest in the product. So it makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of removing layers of bureaucracy, isn't it, I guess? So recently, Anna, I was on YouTube and I found your video, which is very cool. This kind of post-apocalyptic video that gives me the impression. I mean, it gives me a very strong impression of why you believe Xdao is a necessary product, but why? That's the question, really. Like, why does the team feel that Xdao is necessary? can you guys see a massive demand for this service moving forward? Like, what do you see on your side of the world? You see people more demand for this, and what's the motivation of it? Do you see that video kind of is very post-apocalyptic? You know, everything is broken. This is why we need DAOs, and I'm with you. Like, don't get the wrong idea here. I am with you 100%. Do you see that as the future? Like, do you see a world where this is going to become so relevant? Like, just tell us a little bit about the kind of motivations for Xdao.
So meaning that you liked it, actually, the video.
Say that again. Sorry, Anna.
I asked you, did you like it?
Oh, yeah, I liked it.
The video.
Yeah, I really liked it. It fits with my... I mean, that's the kind of guy I am. Like, I also believe that when those words come up on the screen, they don't shock me. I just think, yeah, I know. Like, so, yeah.
Oh, come on. Stop it. Okay, I check. Basically, the first of all is emotions. People without emotion, they they're robots. And if you want to believe in idea, you need to believe in the future, in a better place, in a better world. And for sure, in this video, we put some emotions and we exaggerate this idea, so it might so post-apocalyptic. But basically, yes, the idea of this video is to create like a new world of new companies with a new like city growing from the Xdao yes, covering the world with new values. And actually, yes, because we understand how we can change the mind, how actually not just me and I don't know, on our team, but how DAO can change the mind and the opportunity for the people to interact with actually with the ecosystem, with everything that is around them. So just imagine, just taking our small place, like in the city, right? So I will start from this, because currently we are in Indonesia, and this is city that we are actually tokenizing. It's also in Indonesia, and we are living here. And basically, from this point of view, we understand how it's easy to bring people the value. The opportunity to vote for some decision, I don't know, for the current state of the constructions. Do we need to build here a place to live, or here the kindergarten or something like this? And it all goes to the power to the people. All the power goes to the people. And it is just amazing and crazy things to understand how it can work. And imagine we have no like intermediaries in communication. We have no people lobbyists who can
agendas, right? No.
Yes, put their dirty hands into our mind and our money and stuff. So yes, we are quite anarchy in this way, but in a good way. I mean, we still understand that when we talk about the big cities, the big infrastructure system, it's not like an easy thing that we just put to just avoid all the let's say personnel, all the C-level. We just all around and we try to do something. It doesn't work like this. But yes, they can be leaders. They can be opinion makers, But basically, the idea was like this: they bring in the power to the people, to power to be heard, to make decisions, to make proposals, and to make better changes. Because we know there are a lot of DAOs that do great things in terms of their like impact. For example, Green DAO. Like I know that even Celo as a blockchain, they also do a very good job. They want to be a zero carbon and stuff like this. There are a lot of DAOs over there, charity DAOs who help people. So the idea of this is amazing, because can you imagine the same the same crowdfunding or the same organization in the Web2. It's quite difficult to realize, to imagine. So
totally get it, Anna. Like, totally get it. I think it's the most, you explained it really well as well, because that is the bottom line with it. I mean, we can dive around the technology for days, but at the end of it, it's about decision making, a shared voice, fairness. I like the example of the city because it's such a perfect one, whereby you've got the inhabitants of a city that really should have far more power, as you say, over what happens. And suppose the current governmental structures are just a little bit too agenda driven, aren't they? And it kind of feeds the needs of the top level of people, but everybody's needs are not met, really. So it's a very interesting way to look at it, I think, and the best way, I think. So that was a cool example, definitely. But it does lead me to ask the question, like, so with a DAO, it does sound a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, because you did say that you can have a DAO with one person, but is the Xdao platform kind of set up for people looking to start a company of some kind? I think I hear that from a lot of people. They're like, oh, why would I need a DAO? I haven't got a company. Is that what it's for, Anna, or do you want to dispel that myth a little bit? Like, yeah, is it just for people looking to start companies and organizations?
Like a pros of cons on making DAO instead of making organizations, right?
I guess so. Like, a lot of people would ask the question. They say to me, oh, I don't need a DAO. It feels like it's for a company, and I don't have a company. But are there examples that you could think of where it's not about a company? And I mean, yeah, like I hear that a lot. People asking, you know, I'm not looking to start a company. Would I need a DAO? But yeah, I guess pros and cons is a good place to start for sure.
Yes. Well, actually, not all of you need a DAO for sure. So DAO is for the people who actually have some idea and want to share with the community and want to find like-minded people and even to create a club where everyone will have and share the same ideas. Basically, that is idea for the social DAO kind of. So the tokens, for example, or an NFT will help in this way to make a gateway. Let's say to enter to the social club or something. So it can even it doesn't matter whether this is a value in this token or in this NFT or no. The value generated by the members of this club, right? So yes, this is just like an example. If you don't want to start a company, you can start the club with the like-minded people, and imagine you are like, for example, going to the subject of investments. Yeah. So imagine you are like a loan investor who just want to know how to use like MetaMask, or how to make borrowings, what is collateral and stuff like this. So you can join let's say you can join with another person who actually know how to use the money in the blockchain, how to make some investment decisions on chain. Yes, but unfortunately, for example, he or she doesn't have money, or maybe he just want to make let's say to work with more money than he has in this time.
Sure, yeah.
He or she has this time, yes. And you can just join this gentleman or miss and start to see what is going on in the DAO, how this person stake, I don't know, exchange money, what actually he or she does in this crypto space, and just learn from him, for example. And this is just a person. Imagine there is a 3, 5, 6, and it is already an investment club. So this is just
cool.
another example.
That's a nice example.
So club,
like a casual one, right?
Yeah.
Like whereby a group of friends, for example, could have a DAO form. Yeah, so I get it now. Like, it doesn't have to be so serious, right? Like, it can be something more fun and playful, where it's just a group of friends want to kind of hang out and bring ideas together. So it can be that casual as well. All right, cool. Sorry, I just wanted to put that out there as well. So yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yes. Thank you for your remarks, because it's very important. I'm not a native English speaker, so and actually, like I just said clubs, I just said investment clubs, right? Like a syndicate or something. And for example, the same things works for the family or friends, yes. And the same thing works for the collectors who just collect NFTs because they just like art, but the art is too expensive for them, and they can share these expenses between the holders of the DAO members, right? So you can purchase an NFT together. Yes, because you're just an investor, because you just I don't know, even not investor, you just like art. Yes, so there are a lot of use cases, but if you are growing in that for the company, there should be like a legal wrapper for sure. So you can't just start your DAO as a company without any legal wrapper, without any legal issues. So this is where actually you need to put money, you need to consult with some legal experts, because yes, you need to pay taxes and stuff. So
a bit more complicated,
yes,
right, in that circumstance.
it is complicated. Yes, and depending on the country for sure.
Yes.
So
that's what Xdao can help
yeah.
with, right? That's how you guys step in and try to simplify this process a little bit for people, right? That's the whole idea of Xdao.
Okay, basically what we do right now is to work towards some two additional features that we will have. So as I said before, we have like an on-chain governance. It is implemented in the Xdao, but we also currently implementing the off-chain voting for the community. So it is where you don't need the money and you don't need actually nothing to start your DAO, just the people who just join you. And this is off-chain voting. This will suit you perfectly. And at the same time, we are trying to make something like documentation signing. So documentation, creating of the documents of the kind of legal documents, and sign it both from the DAO side and from the person side. So it should be like this. So we try to make any possible combinations of let's say of usage of Xdao, so it will be very flexible for everyone, not just for the companies but also for clubs. And at the same time, if you are like a big company, you need to sign documents, you need to pay taxes and stuff. We integrated with protocols, and we currently communicated with them to also to integrate us. So this is quite really big story, and the Xdao is developing all the time. So
nice, because I was looking on the website, and I was just kind of scrolling around, and I saw the how to get started, and it does look super simple. Like there's 4 steps here and a big button that says get going, and it all looks fairly straightforward. And I think these kind of platforms are really needed because, as you said at the beginning, it's quite a complex topic, and I think people need to be handheld a little bit and understand the different areas that they could, like what they can use it for and why they would use it. So I think everything on the website is really well laid out as well, just to mention that. I think if anyone's keen to kind of dig a bit deeper and look at the idea of starting a DAO, it's a great place to start. But let's talk about the token, because you mentioned at the beginning that that's forthcoming before the end of the year, and it's a governance token, right? How will that be utilized on the platform, or is that already available?
No, it's the information that actually available. No, token is still ongoing. Our token we plan to use in different aspects. I need some additional source of information, so to be like point by point, very precise. But generally, yes, Xdao token is actually the token that will be used for the governance.
Okay.
So you can vote and to decide how the Xdao will be developed. Okay. We also plan to implement our token to for the additional modules, because we plan to put in any additional modules. So imagine we have like a very simple structure how to create a DAO, and everything else can be wrapped with the modules. For example, we have a module to pay salaries or just contributors to pay some, let's say, rewards. We have like modules to create your own like crowdfunding in case you need some particular amount of time for a particular amount of money for a particular amount of time. And this is actually, we plan to use more and add more modules, and we will use our token to purchase this module. So Xdao Pro function, Xdao Pro is actually like an additional consulting service that Xdao at this time it can perform. For example, you can fill up the form, and our business developers will contact you and will ask what kind of a DAO you want, what is the configuration, and they will have to set up your DAO in a good way. I mean,
yeah, in the proper way, right?
In a proper way, yeah. And this is where the Xdao Pro working, and for the payment, we will also accept the Xdao token. And for the subscription for our services and features, this is something that we already have in our platform. So basically, our subscription costs like 0 Xdao tokens. We don't plan for now and for the several amount of time, we don't plan to implement this subscription, but in the future, if the community will grow, if there will be like additional spendings we need to cover, for sure we will make it through the DAO, so no one can just no one will be scammed like this. We just put the commission and everything stop working. No, so it will be through the DAO. We will decide with the governance model. Do we need the subscription payment or no?
Okay.
And actually, where you can use Xdao token, and for sure we will add some additional features for the token holders. I mean, kind of staking and stuff like this for the users who just want to join and have some additional features for the holding of our token.
Yeah, definitely.
So like this.
All right, cool. So that's coming at the end of the year, right? You said, is that Q4?
To be precise, it will be October.
Okay.
No specific launch
date.
No
Don't be too precise. Yeah, let's keep it as a vague October date. That's always the safest way with these things. Or you get your developers.
So join our social media and see.
That's it. Yeah. So if you want to catch all the updates there, then you need to head on over to the Xdao Twitter, where they're releasing alpha and things like that. Also, I just need to mention, I didn't mention this at the beginning, we've got some POAPs to give away today. It's Xdao times DappRadar POAPs. So these proof of attendance. The best 5 questions today. So don't be shy, people. If you've got any questions for Anna, please just put up your hand, and we'll bring you on the stage and you can ask that question. If it's a goodie, then you'll win yourself a POAP. So that's pretty cool. Right, let's move forward a little bit, and I wanted to talk about the security, but I'm also wary, Anna, that you are the CMO, so that security is not really top of your list of jobs. Can you talk on any of the kind of it's absolutely fine if you're not comfortable, but I was going to ask.
I'm comfortable.
Comfortable, no, all right, brilliant. That's good. That's a good start. Yeah. So what kind of steps have you taken to mitigate any kind of security threats that could arise here with the DAO's system and the structure? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, well, first of all, starting with our smart contracts security audits, we were audited twice by the Pessimistic and Hacken. So it's two smart, yes. It's two teams that verify that we are absolutely secure. Moreover, in our Xdao, we use Open Zeppelin smart contracts, so like wrappers, Open Zeppelin wrappers, so everything like non-reentrant and absolutely secure in this way, because as I said, we have like a brilliant mathematician who actually lead this development stuff, and he's quite impressive in the way he can find some bugs and some even small and like not serious mistake. Mistake. So and even in terms of a gas in terms of a gas cost, for example, we managed to make a creation of a DAO actually twice less expensive than Aragon, for example.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, let's say in terms of in figures, to create a DAO in BNB Chain, it will cost like $4.
Oh.
Yes. In Ethereum, it's like maybe $200. But it's still like not so expensive. But when the Ethereum will go to the proof of work, proof of stake, I think that the figures will be changed. Yeah,
come down a little bit. It might change a little bit. I mean, I didn't ask you that actually, Anna, at the beginning of the chat. Your marketing is as a multi-chain DAO. So, and I didn't actually mention that at all. So I'm presuming that people can launch DAOs on numerous networks. What networks do you cover currently?
Okay, we cover like 25 blockchains.
Oh, wow, okay. That's quite a lot.
At the same time, we were awarded by a lot of blockchains to launch in their networks, because they even really like the idea. And actually, we even covered the Cardano with the Milkameda. If you know that the Cardano is absolutely different blockchain, the definitely different language.
Yeah.
Yes, but in fact they use like a Milkameda. It's kind of layer two for the Cardano blockchain, and that's why I can be absolutely right if I say that we actually launched a Cardano. Yes.
Nice.
There are a lot of also new blockchains like a Nervos network, like blockchains that close to some exchanges like a CoinEx or OKEx exchange. They also implemented Xdao, and with some grants and help and support, of course, because we are absolutely free for now, and no revenue for now from yours to create that DAO. So yes, definitely you can use even a Polkadot, Moonbeam, or Moonriver, or Trident, a star. Depends on you, which you like. Feel free to do it.
Cool, that's cool.
So yes, you can, for example, to play around in a more cheap blockchains like a Polygon. They're very good and fast actually. And then you can go, for example, to move your funds to the Optimism or Ethereum.
So you can do a bit of testing on a lower value over on a network like Poly, and then you can jump over and nice. That's pretty cool. All right, so 25 blockchains, a lot of blockchains. Let's not list them all. I'm guessing if you head over to the Xdao website, that information will be there for people. So that's cool as well. Okay, we talked about security. We talked about tokens. I'm going to ask you a question, Anna. Where do you see Xdao being in 5 years from now? We're in the middle of a bear market. I think, well, I say the middle. That's quite optimistic, I guess. We're in this bear market. Things have changed a little bit. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And maybe the more important question is, where do you see DAOs in 5 years? What do you think will be the kind of, what will we be talking about in 5 years from now when it comes to DAOs, do you think, Hannah?
Okay, I suppose that DAOs in 5 years will be like really organizations with a strong architecture, with a strong understanding of their goals, with a legal wrapper, will be recognizable by all the jurisdictions. It will be very important. I think we will get to it. And At the same time, more and more people will go to the blockchain to set up a DAO there and make an accounting transparent, and without waiting to launch an IPO, you know, when you can when you need to show up your accounting.
Yeah.
So it will be like immediately after you start your DAO, it will be absolutely clear for everyone what's going on in this DAO. Absolutely transparent. The companies to the people will be like closer, because people who actually use the services of the company, who they will be actually part of this company. And by the way, we plan to use and implement more side projects around the Xdao. It may be like actually in our roadmap we have like a DEX for the DAOs.
Okay.
Where we plan to actually launch the DAOs liquidity provider tokens.
Got it.
And
nice.
Yes, because DAOs can also like pay dividends, for example, for the people, for the token holders and stuff. But it should be like regulated properly. So we are working in this way, to make it recognizable by the jurisdiction. No matter, I think that the first who will recognize, the first jurisdiction that will recognize the DAOs will be our client, or vice versa, you know.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Will be these clients, because it's quite important to understand, because scam are over there everywhere, and how to manage it. We need to understand and what the risks and who should bear these risks, and this also very important. Yes, so basically when we figure out how to use it in a like very, very wide way, it will be like perfect, and I think in the 5 years it will be good enough.
All right, nice.
So yes, and that is actually what we are looking forward and believe in it. And in the end, we can imagine small cities, big cities, running on the blockchain, running with DAO.
Smart cities, right? This is what I was going to ask you. Do you think in the future we'll see countries and cities like, you know, Singapore, the way that they run their country, for example, it kind of lends itself to a blockchain-based smart city system? We're going to see that, Anna, or do you think we've got a few more, how do we call them, hurdles to get over first? Like, how do you see that progression? Because at the moment it feels like the power is in our hands, but there's another body there that they have the power currently. Probably not that keen to give up all that power. How do you see it evolving? Like, do you see governments embracing DAO structure?
I suppose, actually, I know that there are like a small lands that used by the people, by the small jurisdiction that is not recognizable nowhere in UN, for example, but they have their passports, they have their documents that represent the country that never exist in the history, but they kind of figure out how to manage the documents, how to manage this jurisdiction, and they start to work. I don't know, the Satoshi Island, what is this now?
Like,
but I would like to know what is what is the idea of Satoshi Island. Maybe something like this, and I may expect the same small Liberland. If you, I don't know, maybe you hear about the Liberland. This is just just an example of people who try to do some their own decisions without any big bodies over there.
It makes sense if you think about what you've said. It's so true. Like, you could have an entire country running as a DAO structure. That's kind of makes a lot. It is almost doing that currently, but it's not very good system, I guess we could say. And it's a non-digital system, paper-based in many countries. So I like that idea and I think that's important as well, that you get these kind of, what do we call them? Case studies. So you, like you guys said, you started with the city. So that makes a good case study. And you can roll that out and say, look, it's been successful here. This is how it works. This is how it really works in the real world. And I think I'm with you totally. Like I can see it becoming more and more. Last question on that, because it's all very philosophical and kind of neither of us have a clue what's going to happen in the next 5 years, let's be honest. But one thing I kind of see, do you think traditional companies will gravitate towards this way of control and letting their customers have more power? Or do you think they're quite happy with them retaining the power? Does that make sense? Sorry, Anna, just tell me if it doesn't. Do you get the question?
Yeah, can you clarify this a bit? Because
it's more like the question generally I'm asking is, do you think that more traditional companies will start embracing DAOs? Companies like Amazon, Facebook, do you think they're going to embrace?
Oh, well, this is difficult because, you know, this is a big company that is already working and already like know how to manage people, how to manage the company. It's not like, you know, it's not movable.
Debatable, though.
Small company.
Debatable, I'd say. Like, that's a good comment that you said there. But I don't know if you saw recently how Mark Zuckerberg was kind of complaining that Facebook wasn't moving fast enough. He went on a trip to China, came back and said that Facebook's not moving fast enough. So I was thinking, well, you know, how can we solve that? I can think of a few ways. But sorry, go on, carry
on. Yes, maybe they want, but you said they say Mark Zuckerberg said that they didn't go fast enough.
Yeah, basically he was saying that he went on a trip to China and he saw that the way that they innovate new products was far quicker and faster. Like basically they take things to market and it doesn't need to be perfect. That Facebook's kind of spending a whole ton of time making sure everything's perfect, but being really slow. It kind of occurred to me that a DAO could work here, that if your customers want something, then they'll tell you and then you can implement it. Yeah, the question was, do you think we'll see brand companies like that kind of brace, or do you think they'll just turn away from it and say, no, we know what we're doing here?
Oh, well, this is quite tricky because even taking Zuckerberg and Facebook, many people criticized their idea with the metaverse. Many people many gamers who in some game that they try to implement NFTs, they were criticized. The game companies, I just don't remember the names of these companies, gaming companies.
It was Ubisoft, I think. They tried to do some NFT.
Ubisoft, yeah.
A lot of
they just absolutely hated, criticized.
Right?
So I think that for more young companies, it will be more easily to understand how it should work, and they will start from scratch. Actually, they will start to do something absolutely new and implement new technologies right now, right here. For the companies that are already big, it's quite tricky. I don't bet on it. No.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you, and I think the comment you made there about them being they got a lot of negativity. My feeling on that is that perhaps Facebook, you know, they could literally probably deliver gold bars to people's houses and they probably still get quite a lot of negativity for one reason or another. So I think what you're saying is correct. These older companies are kind of entrenched in their way of doing business and it will be very difficult for them to change, which is exciting because it means there's a whole new kind of breed of companies coming through, which will change how we look at things, and that Xdao will be a really important player there as well, I think. Okay, Anna, we've sorry, I threw quite a lot of difficult questions at you there towards the end, but I like to know what people think, and I think you did a nice job, and you did a great job of explaining, so that's cool. But let's just go back. So I just want to, is there anything, so we're coming towards the end of the session, so I just want to give a shout. So is there any exciting news? Is there anything that we didn't talk about here today about Xdao that you would like to get out, that people should be aware of, you know, anything else that you want to add to today's chat?
Okay, as I said, we plan to launch our Xdao token in October, so be prepared for this. Join our Discord server, subscribe to our Twitter, and I don't know, in Telegram we also use Telegram.
Nice.
We have like an official channel, so please, you're welcome. Check the news. If you have some questions about how to create a DAO, just join our server. Our ambassadors will help with you. Actually, we currently are launching our ambassador program. It's ongoing, and there are, I can see that the people who actually came from our server to support me here. So I'm really grateful for this. So thank you so much for coming here.
Nice, nice.
And so it is, please make sure you know what DAO is. Dive deeper into the subject. I think it will be important in a couple of years. So that's it. In terms of Xdao, it's going on, so everything is good. So please join.
Cool. It's a really strong point, I think, that you've made there at the end, and I think go and understand what these things are about. If you haven't understood what it's all about from today's session, go and dive a little bit deeper. But Anna, we've just had a question sent in 4 minutes from the end. I've been asking for the whole time, and this person was obviously a bit scared, so I'm going to read out this question for you. This comes from Sarkiv. And it's very focused on yourself in your role, so this is cool. Marketing is a central element for every project so that everyone knows the potential that a project can bring to that everybody knows that a project can bring is vital to achieve the goals that it set. What is your strategy to attract new users to your platform and keep them long term? This is all about you, Anna, and your marketing kind of objectives, I guess, for the next kind of couple of months. What are you guys up to in regards to attracting new people? Apart from doing AMAs with DappRadar, of course.
Okay, well, good question. First of all, I would like to say that generally all the marketing for now and for us is all about the education. So we attract people with our education things that we're currently launching. For example, we launched some campaign in a Polygon chain, and where you can actually like make some tasks. It is in a partnership with Ava. Ava is actually bridge, decentralized bridge that is actually also will launch soon, and we use kind of interactive, like let's say like a play to earn game where you need to create a DAO and see how it actually works. Yes. So we plan to do something, but even in like to bring it in a new level, to make it the story, because we have already characters. We have already like a picture of how we see the future of Xdao. And we plan to move to make kind of a small interactive game. It's all in your imagination, you know. So because this game is actually a kind of a tasks that will be listed in terms. I would say it will be like in a Telegram bot. Where you can step by step immerse and join Xdao and create a DAO, see how it works, change the quorum, invite new members, communicate, interact, swap, and stuff like this. And it's all absolutely easy and very funny to do. This is how we, for example, how we do an education. And second, the education is also goes with this kind of AMA sessions where we discuss about the project and stuff. So the second point is we currently communicate and we work toward the knowledge about other DAOs, because other DAOs are successful and they exist in different blockchains, but people didn't know how it actually worked. For example, DuckDAO. Who know how DuckDAO works? Only the small amount of people who are actually involved in it, but it's actually not a small, because DuckDAO is a really big incubator across the web, but it's actually investment DAO. Say so we focused more on investment DAOs who work like a very democratic way, where all the all the users actually take part in the investment subject, and we just want to have like more examples of this kind of a DAO. So if you're representative of some of it, so some of the DAO, no matter which is, please knock in my DM. I would happy to make the hour with you in the YouTube channel at the same time, and
awesome.
in the Discord.
That's really cool, Anna. Like
Yes.
just listening to that idea of a sort of GameFi way of learning about that's really smart. I really like that. I think that's a very, very fitting,
Yes,
very fitting way to get.
Yes, because it's quite annoying, to learn something. Yes, it's not like very easy to understand the DAO subject. It's not like very very obvious,
No.
So the tricky question, tricky answer, So
Yeah, no, that's
need
a good way of putting
and
it.
actually we really liked what we did with our videos, and we plan to launch more videos explaining how actually Xdao works. So we really want to make it very fun for the people to understand how DAOs work. And for sure, it's maybe today is an Xdao, and the next time we will also publish something new, let's say the DEX, and the people, it will be also like a continual story about the development, about the DAO, about stuff like this. So these characters are
Very cool.
Let's say,
Bringing a narrative into it, I think, is a very smart idea. I really like that. I think people have an appetite for learning when there's a narrative attached, and they can kind of absorb it through things they understand. I'm a big believer in that. So that sounds really cool. All right, I've got one more question.
yes, because
sorry, go on, Anna. Sorry.
Yeah, I just noticed by myself how I easily immersed into kind of a movie or a series, because I really like series, and I just feel myself as a character of this movie and the series, and no matter who is around, no matter I don't care about the actors.
Yeah.
I just want to be immersed in the subject. I don't know, is it a Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I just want to be like a small magician doing something. This is work like this.
That though, they want that escapism, right? Like the world is generally pretty messy, pretty hectic, pretty cold overall. So when you escape into a narrative, that's why people love Hollywood. That's why people love movies. They like to escape, and if they learn something, arguably you learn something all the time, whether you're watching a sci-fi movie or some romance, it doesn't matter. You're still learning. So I completely appreciate that. But yeah, sorry, Anna, we've got another question. I just want to, it's really relevant as well. It's a simple question, and it's from a person called Made After Death. And it says, what is the best thing that anyone has ever created on Xdao that was public? I think they want to have a look at something. Is there anything like that people can go and look at?
Yes, it's just because the biggest thing that we did so far. It's a city. It's a city that actually exists in the real world instead of the metaverse. So basically, I already described the idea, but I can go dive deeper to the subject. So imagine you are kind of person that want to live in the city. So what you need to choose your apartment. What you do, you go to the special website. It's a Web3 website. You connect your wallet and you purchase. You check and choose the apartment you want to live in. You purchase the NFT, and from this time you're actually an owner, not only an NFT but this apartment. So yes, at the same time you need to go to the reception. You need to get a key and stuff like this. But who knows, maybe in the city of the future, it will be like you will have like a generated password. You will go, you can enter the password and the doors are open. So who knows? But for now, yes, you purchase an NFT and you can live in apartments like this. So you can just not only purchase, but you can You can rent for some time, for example. And if you also like an NFT holder, you can vote for some decision that is made in the city, in the parquet. So this is maybe the most impressive example.
Yeah, and cool, right?
Yes.
Right, nice.
How this actually works, but for sure, I talk with another city, with another project that do absolutely the same, but in Mexico.
Ah.
So I see that there are a lot of people like-minded people who do actually the same. We are not owners of this city. We're just happy to serve.
I get it. Like a service provider for the city. That makes a lot of sense. Anna, what's the name of the city? Sorry, you've mentioned it a few times, but just if anybody wants to look this up, the name of the city and the country that it's in. Where is it and what is it? Sorry, again?
It's a Park U, Ubud. Park U.
Okay.
Park, like a park,
Yep.
but with a Q instead of
ARQ. ARQ, right?
PIRQ. PIRQ.
Cool. All right. So
PARQ.
if you Google that, I'm sure you'll find it if you type in some associated words there and have a look around. All right. Thanks, guys, for the questions. You're a bit late. I did ask for questions at the beginning, but it's fine. We'll get those out. That's all good. Thank you for those, and you'll be rewarded with a Pope for your questions today. Somebody did send a question about security. We did already cover that. So as I said at the beginning, we put these up on YouTube so you can go back and we timestamp them so you can unpack and you can listen to that information. But it was a good question. We'll see what we can do about Pope for that one as well. Alrighty, so that's all the time we've got for today's session. I really want to give big thank you to Anna for today and representing Xdao and telling us all about the project. I hope everyone in the chat has learned something here, and I hope everyone listening back is also learning something or did learn something. And maybe even curious to set up your own DAO or go and ask some questions. So as Anna said, head on over, start asking some questions, start inquiring, start finding out more about DAOs. Okay, so tomorrow we've got another session here on Discord again. Not with me though. I'm finished for this week. I'll be back next week. So we've got Pedro and Modesta, 3 p.m. UTC here tomorrow. They're going to dive into their latest behavior report. We've also delivered our July report, so I'm sure they will touch on that as well and dive into everything that's been happening over the last month. It's been a pretty interesting month. We also have our Dapp Days campaign starting next week. Starts on the 8th of August. We're going to be doing an AMA every day. We've got token giveaways and more cool stuff happening. So make sure you keep an eye on our social media. Anna, I want to thank you again. Thank you for your time. Do you want to just give a thank you to everyone in the audience today? She's gone. That's cool. So thank you, Anna. Nice one. We really appreciate you being here today with us for the chat. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll catch you all next week for more AMAs and podcast sessions. Get easy.